Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Ohio.
Oh, what a shot of Dodger Stadium as the Reds begin this long three-city road trip. It begins here in L.A. It's the Reds and the Dodgers on Fox Sports Ohio. And hi, good evening, everyone, on this late Monday night, and welcome to Reds Baseball. Along with Chris Walsh and Jim Day, I'm Jim Kelch, and boy, if you're going to start a road trip, I guess you should start against the best, Chris, and the Reds are certainly doing that in Clayton Kershaw, and what a May he's had.
Well, not only just a May, but I mean, this guy's one of the best pitchers in all of baseball in our generation. There's no question about it. And he's having a historic run right now, Clayton Kershaw is. And that run is all about strikeouts and walks, meaning lots and lots of strikeouts and very few walks. He's 4-0 with an earned run average less than 1. And he's a guy that every time the Dodgers have lost the day before he's pitched, he's went out and given them a win when they needed to. This guy defines stopper like nobody else right now in Major League Baseball.
Kershaw tonight been making his 10th start against the Reds. Now, when you look at the numbers and what you're talking about, historic Kershaw, this is certainly it.
Well, I mean, just the 22 strikeouts per walk ratio. That's the one that really ought to stick in your mind right here because, you know, the best one right now, second to Clayton Kershaw, is 8-4, 8.4 to 1. So this guy is simply not beating himself by putting runners on base. He's got 2 or 3 different strikeout pitches, and he's got impeccable control, and he's on a roll right now. So the Reds have their hand full, no question, with the big left-hander Kershaw on the mound tonight.
So you naturally wonder who on the Reds has done well against Clayton Kershaw. Well, what about Jay Bruce?
Well, Jay Bruce has had a pretty good run of them. I mean, remember that these two guys actually squared up against each other in high school when Jay Bruce was a senior and Clayton Kershaw was a junior. So Bruce now in the major leagues, a couple of home runs off him in the same game. That was back in 2013. Hopefully he'll be able to replicate something like that tonight.
And how about the list of lefties that have homered at least twice against Clayton Kershaw?
Well, not too many. Obviously, if you're on this list, you have been the best of the best because Clayton Kershaw just simply doesn't give much up to left-handers. Adam Dunn's on that list, Votto's on that list, Carlos Gonzalez, and, of course, Brad Hawk. So, you know, that's a short list of left-handers. Doesn't mean that only the left-handers have got to swing in the bat tonight. The right-handers are going to get pitches to hit off of Kershaw. You've got to make sure you don't chase anything early on and be patient enough to get a pitch that you can handle.
All right, we'll step aside. When we come back, Jim Day looks at the true Louisville slugger, the Reds' Adam Duvall.
Check out their award-winning. On the field. One thing you want to see when players come up at this level is improvement, and that is exactly what we've seen out of left fielder Adam Duvall. He has been quite the surprise, and everyone noticed when he showed up in spring training that he shortened his swing and certainly worked on the defense. And look at his numbers in May. 6 home runs, 11 extra base hits, both tied for third in all of the National League. When he gets his arms extended, look out. He's got some serious pop, and that's why we've called him the Louisville Slugger, hailing from Louisville. He's our steel power tool performer. First 2 seasons with San Francisco and Cincinnati. Look at his numbers in 55 games. He has bettered that this season in just 39 games. 12 doubles, 8 home runs, 17 runs driven in just 39 games. And hitting down in the order and providing some production. Tough one tonight, Clayton Kershaw, though. Game time from Chavez Ravine in Los Angeles. Jim Kelch and Chris Welsh are next.
New addressed 1000 Vin Scully Place. The Dodgers and the Reds in the first game of this 3-game series. Let's take a look at the Reds starting lineup for tonight's affair. Cozart, Hamilton, and Votto at the top. Phillips, Bruce, and Duvall in the middle. Pacheco, Barnhart, and Finnegan make up the bottom 3 against the 28-year-old native of Dallas, Clayton Kershaw.
Well, he's already won the Cy Young Award 3 times, Clayton Kershaw has. He was an MVP of the league in 2014, but any of those years may not be as good as the one that he is compiling right now. Overall, he's 6-1, earned run average at 1.6, but in the month of May, even more dominant than that.
He's ready, so is Cozart. First pitch of the game, and it's lined down the left field line. Zach Cozart just continues his hot-hitting ways. He'll glide into second with a leadoff double and a good start for the Reds as Cozart comes up with his team leading 14th double of the year. Well, the Reds will not be no hit tonight.
I mean, Zach Cozart has done this a lot, which is go after the first pitch in the first at bat that he sees in a ball game, and he just rips this one. He doesn't give Kershaw a chance to start messing around with different pitches. That was a cutter or slider down and in. Cozart, as usual, hits it hard and leads off with a double.
This is sometimes the best time to get on a very good pitcher is early before he gets into the rhythm of things.
That'll bring Billy Hamilton to the plate.
I'll tell you, for Billy Hamilton right here, if he's thinking about bunting him over to third, and he obviously is, he's got the infield in, the first base side is probably the way to go. Because if he can make the first baseman field the ball, he may have a base hit.
Billy bunts toward Turner at third. He'll get the runner along, and that'll be a sacrifice bunt for Billy Hamilton. He hung right in there nicely on that sac bunt. Take a look at the Dodgers defensively behind Kershaw. Brought to you by your Ford dealers. They'll line up like this tonight. Kike Hernandez gets the start out in left field. Trace Thompson in center. Puig is out in right. Turner, Seager, Kendrick, and Gonzalez across the infield. A.J. Ellis, who caught all 17 of those innings yesterday in San Diego, catches Clayton Kershaw. And now Joey Votto. You saw his name on that list of players who have homered a couple of times against Kershaw in his career. Votto-like to be sure. 205 with 6 home runs this year. Dodgers have their infield in.
You know, you talk to hitters about facing Clayton Kershaw, and they'll all tell you pretty much the same thing. Great control, good stuff, not overpowering, but they'll all also tell you that he will give you pitches in the at-bat to hit. He normally pitches to the glove side of home plate, which is the third base side of the plate. And for left-handers, that means going with it. And he's missed his spot a couple of times now in this at-bat to Joey Votto.
One of the things you really highlighted is only 4 walks in 70 innings this year. It's mind-boggling.
Well, he's got a 3-0 count right here.
4 walks, 88 strikeouts in 70 innings. Calling the balls and strikes tonight is Todd Tischner. His mates are Bill Miller at first, Pat Hoberg at second, Brian Knight over at third. Kershaw comes into the game second in the league in ERA. It's 1.67, trailing only the 1.29 of the Cubs, Jake Arrieta. From 3-0 to 3-2.
Well, here's the 3-1 pitch right there, and he runs it up there with a slider, and Votto angry that he missed it. If you were wondering, would Votto ever really swing at a 3-0 pitch? The answer to that is yes. Clayton Kershaw had 3 balls and no strikes. Votto in his career is hitting .650 on 3-0 pitches. He's 20. He's 13 for 20.
Lines it right at Seager.
Wow.
Well, you said he'll give you the other way, and that's exactly what Votto did, but unfortunately Seager right in the way of it.
Well, once a ball leaves your bat, you've got no control over it at all. All you want to do as a hitter is hit it hard, because the more line drives you hit, the better of course the chances it's going to fall in. So the Reds have a tough break right there by that ball not being rocketing somewhere into the outfield.
So now Brandon Phillips, he really has the best average against Kershaw amongst the Reds regulars. 9 for 25, a .360 career mark against Kershaw. He had that big 2-run double in the first inning yesterday. Brandon comes into the game at .250 overall, 6 home runs. He's driven in 22. Start for the Reds of a 10-game, 11-day road trip. 3 here, then the off day, 3 in Milwaukee, and then 4 in Colorado against the Rockies. To Turner. And the leadoff double by Cozart goes for naught for the Reds. Sports Ohio is brought to you by Chevy. Check out their award-winning lineup only at your tri-state Chevy dealer. By Cincinnati USA Regional Tourism Network. Stay close to CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good? It's Skyline time. Take a look at the lineup card of the Dodgers, presented by new manager Dave Roberts. Kike Hernandez, Justin Turner, Adrian Gonzalez at the top. Howie Kendrick, Trace Thompson, Corey Seager in the middle. Yasiel Puig 7th, A.J. Ellis 8th, and the pitcher Kershaw bats 9th.
Brandon Finnegan will take the ball for the Reds and looking for his first win since April the 16th. Not all of those are his fault, but he could certainly use one of those games where he goes deep into the ball game, save the bullpen a little bit, and also be around the strike zone a little bit more. This is not a Dodger team that is actually tearing the cover off the ball right now. In fact, before they finally broke out yesterday when they beat the Padres in 17 innings, they scored 9 runs. Their previous 4 games, they were not scoring very many runs at all. In fact, in previous 4, they'd only scored 13 total. So you may be catching the Dodgers at a good time from a little offensive slump too.
Now, this is a team that early on in the season was a first-place team out of the National League West. In fact, after their 12-10 win on the 24th of April, they were 5 over at 12-7, led the division by 2.5 games. But since that time, have only won 10 while dropping 16 and start the day 4.5 out behind San Francisco. Justin Turner hitting .232 with 3 home runs. And a pinch hit home run yesterday down in San Diego in the 7th inning that tied the game at that time at 4-4. Mentioned it in the past, but it certainly bears repeating. Turner is a guy who was drafted out of Cal State Fullerton by the Reds in the 7th round back in '06. Eventually the Reds traded him to Baltimore. He's come over here to Los Angeles, done a pretty good job. A lot of injuries at third base last year for LA really allowed Turner to step in there, take over the everyday spot, and he responded with 16 home runs, 60 RBIs, and a .294 average in 2015. Bruce makes the catch, so 2 fly balls, 2 out here in the bottom of the first.
First baseman, number 23.
Take a look at the Reds defensively, brought to you by your Ford dealers. Reds have Duvall, Hamilton, and Bruce across the outfield. Pacheco gets the start at third, only his 4th there this year. Cozart at short, Phillips and Votto make up the right side. Finnegan and Barnhart the battery. Brandon Finnegan, as Chris mentioned, looking for that first win since way back on the 16th of April in St. Louis. Looking to have a 1-2-3 first inning. These Dodgers, I would bet, are a little bit worn out. 17 innings yesterday, 11 innings on Saturday in San Diego. 10 extra innings in the last 2 days. Dave Roberts' bullpen a little bit beat up. In fact, they started, or they will start on Tuesday, someone that was not listed on the rotation advance sheet simply because Ross Stripling pitched the final 3 innings yesterday in that 17-inning game.
Well, they're trying to get wins anywhere they can get them right now. The Dodgers are, and fortunately for them, the Giants, even though they're on a very good win streak right now, I think they've won 9 of their last 10 games. They're not running away with the division like the Cubs are in the National League Central. They're trying to get this very high payroll team back on track, and that's the duty right now that rests on the shoulders of Dave Roberts.
Well, many odds makers picked the Dodgers right behind the Cubs as the 2nd best team to win the pennant / World Series out of the National League. Got it right into the hands of Gonzalez, and Brandon Phillips, a rare ground ball mistake on that. That'll be an E4, and the Dodgers have a first inning base runner.
I can't remember the last time I've seen this happen to Brandon Phillips. I mean, he's playing shallow right field, so he's coming charging in, but I mean, he gets there in plenty of time. He gets down, but he just doesn't get that tailgate down low enough.
It's his 6th error of the year, and it gives the opportunity now for Howie Kendrick to bat in the first inning.
That's the spot where Brandon Finnegan really needs to concentrate. You can see the action on his fastball. He's got nice life on it, but a lot of times he flies his shoulder open a little bit too early and everything is left up and away. Like that, although that did catch the strike zone. He will throw both a 4-seam and a 2-seam fastball. The majority of those fastballs, though, are 4-seamers. That's what he's always done.
He has Kendrick now in the hole, 1 ball, 2 strikes. First career start for Finnegan against the Dodgers. Kendrick a big day yesterday, 4 hits in 8 at bats, including a home run. He has that lone home run of the year. He's driven in 8. Basically, it's been Chase Utley who plays at second base. Kendrick certainly gets the start against left-handers, at least most of them.
Kendrick was one of 5 Dodgers that played all 17 innings yesterday, and who is in the lineup today. Chase Utley, left-handed hitter, and Peterson, left-handed hitter, getting the night off.
That's ball 4 on a 3-2 pitch after Finnegan got ahead of Kendrick 1 and 2.
You can see it happening really for Brandon Finnegan right in the middle of the delivery when he starts going through the plate, and that shoulder of his starts flying towards the the third base dugout a little bit too soon. It's so hard to get your arm to catch up. He's just got to find that one little thought process that gets him back together to make that arm and his front shoulder work in together instead of one just being a little bit behind the other.
Here now is Trace Thompson batting out of the 5 spot. First pitch a strike. Thompson at 280 with 7 home runs and 19 runs batted in.
Thompson was involved in that trade, if I'm not mistaken, that included Todd Frazier and the White Sox and the Reds and the Dodgers.
Ozart and Phillips combine at second base. They get the force out on Kendrick, and that puts an end to LA's first inning. of the second. He's the focus of our IGS Bringing the Energy feature tonight. How about his numbers against left-handers? Prior to this year, 227. This season, well over 300 at 313. 55 home runs versus lefties since 10. The second most in the major leagues. He offers at the first pitch, and Gonzalez will beat him to the bag. It looked like they're going to take an aggressive approach against Kershaw here tonight.
Well, what you really don't want to do against Clayton Kershaw is get down in the hole to 2 strikes. He's got that real slow curveball that we've showed you in the open. It's a 12-6 curveball, meaning it breaks from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock straight down. And it can really upset your timing, but he doesn't normally throw that until he gets 2 strikes. So the Reds are trying to stay away from that pitch because it's a lot easier to guess fastball slider than it is to mix in that curveball.
So here's Adam Duvall. He's had 3 career at-bats against Kershaw. He's 0 for 3. 264 overall average this year. Lost his helmet in the process.
This is the reason why you really don't want to get to the point where you have 2 strikes and you have to hit that curveball off of Clayton Kershaw. Look at the batting average against on that particular pitch. 0.67. Not like the slider is a whole lot better, but you'd like to get the fastball if at all possible. So now really the first batter that I can remember that he's gotten ahead of in 1 ball and 2 strikes. So maybe he'll drop it on the curveball, that is, drop it on Duvall right here.
There's that big deuce by Kershaw, and he gets his first strikeout of the night.
Third baseman number 15, Jordan Pacheco.
Well, 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock, you better bet. And it comes in very slow, too. So you see hitters kind of double step, and they double hitch, and they just can't stay back. And even when they do swing, oftentimes they swing right through it.
His 89th strikeout of the year. He, of course, leads the National League in that department. He gets the first 2 and now gets Jordan Pacheco, who's playing third base tonight, with Eugenio Suarez getting a breather. A rare start for Pacheco, only his 4th at third base. He's made a start at second. Made a start at first. Mostly he comes off the bench as a pinch hitter, and now he's at a ball, a strike. Pacheco actually has 20 ABs against Kershaw, 3 for 20. He used to play in this division with the Rockies, so he's faced Kershaw any number of times. Got jammed on that pitch and floats it on out to left. Handled out there by Hernandez, and the Reds go in order in the top of the second. live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, StatsCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at-bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Scoreless through an inning and a half. Dodgers come calling here in the bottom of the second against Brandon Finnegan. Finnegan's last time out allowed 4 runs, 8 hits in 5 2/3 against the Cleveland Indians. That was at 8-7 12 inning loss. The 8 hits a career high that he had given up. He gets Corey Seager to lead it off, and he rips one to first base. Votto short hopped it and gets to the bag in front of Seager. And so the younger brother of Kyle Seager, whom we saw the last 3 days at home against Seattle,
Right fielder.
he's out first pitch swinging.
Yasiel Puig.
Batter now is Yasiel Puig. Hitting .244 with 5 home runs. Driven in 18. Puig yesterday in that 17-inning game went from GOAT to hero in the 9th inning. The Dodgers tried to move him along from second with nobody out with a sacrifice bunt by A.J. Ellis. Great bunt by Ellis. Problem was Puig stayed put out at second.
And he later said in the post-game comments that he was confused by the bunt, which is even more confusing than the quote itself.
And then, of course, had the big hit in the 17th. Here it is from yesterday. First the 9th inning with Ellis bunting. There's the confusion.
Ellis can't believe it.
Yeah. And here's the hit in the 17th inning. Took him a while, but he makes up for the 9th inning mistake. Dodgers won that game. Score was 9-5. They salvaged 1-3 against the Padres. In fact, they went 1-4 on that road trip. Lost both games in against the Angels and then lost 2 of 3 against San Diego. Puig a strikeout victim, so for the 2nd inning in a row, Finnegan gets the first 2.
Catcher number 17, A.J. Ellis.
Puig loves the fastball, and he loves pitches up, and he just can't lay off those pitches sometimes. And a very aggressive hitter swings after a pitch right there was marginal strike. Quite late on that fastball.
So 2 out, and here's A.J. Ellis. You wonder why, with Ellis catching all 17 innings yesterday, that he would come right back and catch today. Yasmani Grandal has a bruised foot. He did pinch hit in yesterday's game. Try to get him feeling a little bit better before they stick him behind the plate. So Ellis has the job again tonight after working all that extra time yesterday. Hitting .215 with a home run. Popped him up. Playable for Votto. There's a 1-2-3, bottom of the 2nd. Nice work turned in by Brandon Finnegan. Game storyline presented by Elk and Elk. How about Clayton Kershaw? We'll throw all sorts of Kershaw numbers at you tonight. Here's one leading the major league since 2011 in these categories: ERA, complete games, shutouts, strikeouts, opponent's average, and in many of those categories, a big advantage over the person that is right behind him. Our Elk and Elk storyline. Kershaw, 6 in a row retired since the first pitch leadoff double by Cozart. He gets Tucker Barnhart, the number 8 hitter, switch hitting catcher, batting from the right side, leading off here in inning number 3. Tucker at 245 with a home run. He was the last batter of the game yesterday at home against the Mariners. Pinch hit in the 9th, lined out, hit it hard, but out into right field. It's this ball hard, and that's a base hit up the middle. So a nice job for Tucker Barnhart to lead off inning number 3. Reds get the leadoff man on for the second inning.
Talk a little bit to Tucker before the ball game, and he was just excited as can be about facing Clayton Kershaw tonight. Had never faced him before. You know, and he says you want to go against the best, don't you? I mean, you really to find out what you're made of. And he gets a high fastball, jumps on it, hits it hard enough to get into the outfield.
Coming off a rough homestand, Tucker Barnhart. Let's hope for good things for him on this road trip. So now Finnegan, despite the fact that he has 5 hits, will have the opportunity here to bunt Tucker along.
Now this is really where you can help yourself a lot as a pitcher. And the one thing Finnegan has going for him is that he's such a good hitter that he will likely not chase a bad pitch out of the zone and try to lay down a bunt. He's already let one go by. Thought that was marginal. I mean, he's got the corner infielders coming down hard. I mean, Justin Turner at third base is only about 20 feet away from him by the time that ball goes over the plate. Gonzalez, he's only hampered a little bit because he's holding the runner on. And forget the running game. There has not been a stolen base attempt this year against Clayton Kershaw. Last year there were 7 stolen bases against Kershaw, 9 caught stealing, 10 pitcher or 6 pitcher caught stealing, and he picked off 10. So the odds simply aren't good.
Out in front of the plate, they're going to try second. They get him out there, but not at first base.
Good play by A.J. Ellis. I mean, he came out behind that plate very quickly. And he had everything in front of him, so he knows when he goes down to field this ball exactly where he's going to go with it. It only was a couple of feet in front of home plate, and he fires a strike to second base in order to get the lead runner.
Well, the bunt attempt not successful for the Reds, and here comes Cozart with a runner at first base, the pitcher Finnegan, and 1 man out. Cozart came into the game hitting .323. That was 10th best in the league. Boy, he had a nice homestand, 7 out of 17 with a home run. That hit, by the way, is double, the 500th hit of his career.
Even after 17 innings yesterday for A.J. Ellis, he is not going to take the night off and miss a chance to catch Clayton Kershaw.
Two and two now to Cozart.
He had to think that pitch was low. We'll take a look on our Fox tracks. Oh, wow. Had it right there on the edge.
And Cozart swings and misses.
That's a slider. And really, if you're watching at home and you can't tell a lot of break on a pitch, the way to tell the fastball from the slider is simply watch your radar gun reading. The fastball is going to be around 93. The slider will be at 88. The curveball in the mid-70s. He does not, believe it or not, throw much of a changeup at all. In fact, when he came to the major leagues, Kershaw didn't even have a cutter or slider. He had a fastball curveball. But his control was so good, even for a young pitcher, that he was able to dominate with just those two pitches. But that slider that he has added the last few years, boy, it's taking him to a next level.
Well, he certainly has a uniqueness in that stretch position when he holds those hands way up above his head.
Well, that's actually called the stretch part. That's the stretch. The position you're throwing at with the runner on base is actually called the set. But he does it all pretty well.
Turner throws out Cozart. Finnegan does move up, and it'll be an RBI chance now for Billy Hamilton with a runner at second and 2 out.
Well, if you're Brandon Finnegan on second base right here, you know for a fact that Billy Hatcher, the coach at third, has got to take a chance with you. So if a base hit can happen right here, get a big enough lead to make sure that you're going to be waving around and scoring on it. There's really nobody near second base to keep him close.
Billy Hamilton comes into this game hitting .346 against left-handed pitching. Let's see if he can get something here against Kershaw. Ooh, he wanted to go and did not pull the trigger. Now he's down 2 strikes.
I guess you call that tantalizing. I mean, there were about 3 times between the time that he let that ball go until A.J. Ellis caught it that he wanted to swing at it. Yes, no, yes, no, no.
Reds had a chance in the first. Cozart doubled. Hamilton sacked him along, but Votto against the drawn and infield lined out. Phillips grounded out. Down in order in the second. Now a chance with a runner at second and 2 men gone here in the third. Another big slow curve.
Well, the advantage that Kershaw has with that curveball are 2. One is that it drops straight down. So if your bat isn't in the zone for a long time, you have a chance of either popping it up, grounding out, or missing it because it's dropping straight down. The other is that it's almost 20 miles an hour slower than his fastball. That's a big adjustment. I'll tell you, I like the at-bats that the Reds are giving against Kershaw tonight. I really do. I mean, the guys that want to be aggressive have hit the ball hard. Cozart, even though he went down on that ground ball, he advanced the runner, still had a very good at-bat, battled hard against Kershaw.
Billy will get a look here at a 2-2 pitch. The runner at second, 2 out. Nice backhand pick by Turner and a perfect throw across. Gets the speedy Hamilton. And they're at second. Opportunity to score goes by the wayside.
I'm Jim Day. You know, we capture a lot of priceless moments on the baseball field, but some are more priceless than others, and we caught one today. There was a youngster on the field, only 2 years old. His name is Micah, and he happens to be the son of Brandon Phillips. And check him out, already hitting him back through the box. He was out there with Eugenio Suarez, Brandon, and Billy Hamilton, and even showing off his wheels. Out racing Billy Hamilton, but as youngsters do often, they'll fall down. He also took some grounders out at second base, as everyone was having a good laugh over that. And when he was taking grounders at second, he was throwing to Brandon at first base. And afterwards, I asked Brandon, hey, is he already doing the behind-the-back flip? And he said, oh, no. He's not allowed to do that. And I shook my head. I was like, really? Coming from you, he's not allowed to do that? He said, oh, no, not yet. Got to learn the fundamentals first.
I guess that's like from a pitcher not throwing a curveball until he gets a little bit older. You got to wait on that behind-the-back thing.
But he did probably tell his dad, hey, Dad, I could have handled that ball back in the first inning.
You think he said that? Kershaw leading things off here in the bottom of the third. He's actually a pretty good hitter. We're talking a lot lately in Finnegan starts about Kershaw, Finnegan being a couple of the top hitting pitchers so far this year in the National League. He has 5 hits. Finnegan has 5 hits. But Finnegan had all the Reds hits until recently in the series against Seattle. Simon had a hit yesterday in the game. Lamb had a hit on Saturday.
Well, Kershaw was asked to pinch hit in yesterday's 17-inning game, Dodgers and Padres. He was sent up there to bunt, but as it turned out, he got 2 strikes on him, and he was able to move the runner up.
Well, there's hit number 6 on the year for Clayton Kershaw. And the Dodgers get the leadoff man on for the first time in the game.
Number 14.
Really not fair, is it, that you can pitch like he does and also hit on occasion?
I mean, you wonder if a guy like Clayton Kershaw could have been an everyday player somewhere. I mean, he just looks like an exceptional baseball player, period. Hit, run, throw.
6'4", 225.
Of course, the Dodgers like him just the way he is every 5th day.
Here's Kike Hernandez. Well, this Dodger team has had a problem this year. It's been left field. Ethier hurt. Van Slyke hurt. Carl Crawford not producing. They're trying to find anybody they can put out there that will hit on a semi-regular basis. Here's Dave Roberts, the first-year skipper of the Dodgers. Forever will be remembered for that 0-4 stolen base against the Yankees in the American League Championship Series as a Red Sox player. Cozart going to get away to Hamilton, and Billy came a long way and made the catch on that ball. So Hernandez is the first out here in the home third. Batter will be Turner. Turner out of Long Beach, California. They mentioned played at Cal State Fullerton, so coming back out here to play for the Dodgers was like coming home for him. We mentioned he was drafted by the Reds, traded by the Reds to Baltimore, and that Ryan Friel deal that sent them to Baltimore brought Ramon Hernandez over, and then he signed as a free agent with the Dodgers prior to last year, actually prior to the 14 season. So this is his 3rd year wearing a Dodger uniform. Part-time player in 14. He hit .340, so much so and good enough that they finally gave him an opportunity last year, and they traded Juan Uribe away. He responded at .294. quite have the long flowing red locks like he had last year. Don't make no mistake, his hair's not short. Last year it seemed to be about 6 or 7 inches longer than it is now.
Well, you mentioned that he had 16 home runs last year. But he really didn't play full time. It was injuries that got him playing time, but it was also injuries that kept him from being a full-time player. Batted near 300, the .294 batting average, had 60s ribbies.
Cozart to Phillips, they get an out, and they'll get another. Slowly hit by Turner, but Cozart, Phillips, and Votto turn it nicely. First double play of the game, and it ends the bottom of the third here at Dodger Stadium. Names in soccer converge on the United States for the 100th anniversary of one of the world's biggest tournaments. Coverage of the Copa America Centenario begins June the 3rd across the networks of Fox Sports. This game scoreless through 3. Reds have 2 hits. Dodgers have 1. Votto, Phillips, Bruce here in inning number 4 against Clayton Kershaw. Touched on in our pregame coverage about the fact that Kershaw has 6 straight games of 1 or less walks, 10 or more strikeouts. That's a major league record, never been done before. He came close on Votto in the first inning. He had a 3-0 count, Joey did, against Kershaw. Until he lined out to the shortstop on a 3-2 pitch. Really the best chance the Reds had to score so far early in this game. Talking about homestands, Votto went only 3 for 19 in the recent 5-game homestand.
Now, one way to keep the opposing score down is you get the leading lady, which is the leadoff man, and boy, has Kershaw been good at that. A 100 batting average.
Yet the Reds have had the leadoff man on twice.
You may wonder where the Reds or where the Dodgers ever got Clayton Kershaw. He was a #1 draft pick. He was a 7th taken overall out of high school from Dallas. So there were 6 players taken in that 2006 draft ahead of Clayton Kershaw. The #1 player in that draft that year was Luke Hochevar, who went to the Royals. The Rockies picked Greg Reynolds. Evan Longoria went to the Devil Rays. The Pirates picked Brad Lincoln. Andrew Miller and Brandon Morrow also taken in that draft before the Dodgers got to Kershaw. Now the Reds drafted 8th that year, so they were 1 pick after the Dodgers, and with Kershaw gone, they selected Drew Stubbs.
So really, Kershaw and Longoria are the most successful of that early group.
Well, of the early group. Tim Lincecum went in that deal or in that same year, and so did Max Scherzer. Of course, that was to the Diamondbacks.
Wow, close on that 3-2. Inside for ball 4. So there is only the 5th walk of the year given up by Kershaw.
Well, if anybody on this Reds ball club is going to walk tonight, you know it's going to be Joey Votto. He nearly walked him last time. He did walk him this time. The first walk he's allowed to lead off an inning. Now the Reds have had some chances, runners in scoring position in 2 of the first 3.
Yeah, we showed you the graphic, 7 for 70 with the leadoff man. Now the Reds have had the leadoff man on 3 times in 4 innings. Phillips now 2 for his last 24 as he stands in there. Seager out and out. And a 6 unassisted 6-3 double play erases Votto.
You know, one more follow-up point on that 2006 draft in which the Dodgers picked up Clayton Kershaw. He was the first high school player taken in that draft. All the players that were taken ahead of him were selected out of college. And it's really appropriate this time of year because a lot of teams are beginning to gather up their scouts and their scouting reports, trying to figure out what they're going to do when it comes draft day there in the first week in June.
What are we, June 9th, so just over 2 weeks away.
Including the Reds. Walt Jocketty traveling along with the ball club through the majority of this trip. He'll bug off when the Reds get to Colorado after a couple of days to go back to the war room and talk about the draft.
It's an important draft certainly for the Reds, if not because they have the 2nd overall pick, but they have a lot of early picks.
Well, I think they have 3 in the first 35 or so.
Of course, the question then comes up, do you draft the best athlete? Do you draft a college player? Do you draft a high school athlete? Are you looking for something specific? Gonzalez makes the play. Bruce retired. 3 and out go the Reds thanks to the double play here in the 4th. On Fox Sports Ohio is brought to you by your local Ford dealer. Ford, go further. And by Cincinnati Children's, ranking 3rd in the country on U.S. News Best Children's Hospitals. Reds fans, be a part of Super Saturdays this season at Great American Ballpark. Saturday, June the 4th. First 25,000 fans will receive a Reds tote bag. Catch all the action when your Reds take on the Washington Nationals for as low as $12. For tickets, 513-381-REDS or visit Reds.com. Seems a long way from now, but after this road trip, when the Reds get home, the Washington Nationals there, and that means Dusty Baker's return to Great American Ballpark. Won't that be of interest? Right now is Nationals game and a half up in the East over the Mets. Nationals lost today at home to the Mets 7-1. Bartolo Colon beat Gio Gonzalez, so their lead now down to 1/2 game. And the teams are even in the loss column at 18. Hammered the other way by Gonzalez, but Duvall makes the play out there for out number 1.
Boy, this is a big ballpark to try to hit a ball out of here opposite field. I mean, Gonzalez has about as much power as any left-hander you'll find, and going to just about any field in the ballpark. But, you know, damp air, it's cool, and if you don't hit it early in the ball game, it gets harder and harder to hit one here.
This is a symmetrical ballpark. 330 down the lines, 385 to the alleys, 395 to straightaway center. But boy, you're right. It just seems like there is so much room in each corner.
Well, you come out here at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when they're taking extra batting practice, and they're peppering balls into the bleachers just all over the place. But by the time that game time rolls around and the temperature drops a good 10 or 15 degrees, and the kind of marine air comes in a little bit, even though we're probably 15 or so miles from the beach, it really makes things difficult for hitters. Always has been a great place to pitch. And Dodger Stadium has always been known for having the biggest and highest and best mound in all of baseball. I don't know if it's still like that.
Wow, right back up the middle, solidly hit there by Howie Kendrick. He's on with 1 out.
Pretty much a pitch right down the middle, and boy, that ball was already past Brandon Finnegan by the time you see that reaction.
Kendrick, an interesting story. He spent, what, 9 years as an Angel, then comes over here to the Dodgers, so he's played his whole career in Los Angeles. One technically in Anaheim, and now here with the Dodgers.
So he doesn't know what bad weather and rain delays are all about, does he?
He does not. Trace Thompson, the batter now, hit into a forced play that ended the first inning. Where the Thompson family right now is really torn, aren't they, in terms of the NBA playoffs. Trace Thompson has a brother, Clay, who plays for the Golden State Warriors. His brother's older brother Michael played for the Cavaliers back in 11-12. His dad Michael played in the NBA for 14 years, so they're really a basketball family, save for Trace. He's now an everyday player for the Dodgers. Made his debut. There's on deck Corey Seager. Thompson made his debut with the White Sox last year. Spent most of the year at AAA Charlotte. Took him a while to get through the White Sox organization. Broke in 09. Finally got to the big leagues last year.
You know, when the White Sox first brought him up, they thought he was really going to be a much better defensive player than he would be offensive player. They put him in late in ball games to be really a defender-only type guy, but all of a sudden he started getting his strikeouts down and under control, and offensively things began to happen for him.
Hendrick on the move, and the ball skips by Phillips and on into center. Hamilton backs it up, so Kendrick gets his second stolen base of the year. That's a rarity right there. I mean, the Dodgers just do not run.
Well, I think it was a combination of a couple of things. One is that Finnegan didn't think he was going to go and probably wasn't paying much attention to him. The throw was in the dirt. Good decoy at the other end of it, though, to keep Kendrick from jumping up and heading to third base.
Dodgers left 2 on in the first, down in order in the second. 3 batters out in the third thanks to the double play. Now a runner at second here with 1 out in the fourth. Thompson playing center field today. Jock Peterson still is their everyday center fielder. One of the guys who played the entire game yesterday, Chris talked about earlier. Thompson in there today. Hamilton got a good jump on it, and he makes the catch of that hard hit ball by Trace Thompson. 2 line drive outs in this inning. A line drive hit. And now it's Corey Seager with a runner at second and 2 out. Out in front of that and a foul ball. Seager only 22 out of Charlotte. First round pick by the Dodgers 4 years ago. He came up at the end of last year and did a very nice job. Hit .337 in 27 games. Ball went left. Barnhart went right, and the runner over to third base.
Well, you shake that off because it really has no bearing on anything right now, especially with 2 outs. I mean, you go down and block it if you're Barnhart, you think you know where it goes, and sometimes you just don't. But the issue at hand here is for Finnegan to concentrate on the left-handed hitter Seager up here. Forget all about that guy at third base.
Now 1 and 2 to Corey Seager. Have not had much luck out here at Dodger Stadium as of late. Came out here back in June of 2011, swept a 3-game series. That's when Brian Price was the pitching coach here under Dusty Baker. But since that time, 12, 13, 14, and 15, the Reds have won no more than 1 game here. Playing him right up the middle is Cozart, and the shift pays off for the Reds right there. Cozart throws out Seager, putting an end to the Dodger 4th inning.
entertaining plays of the year. Here from both participants about the play when Billy Hamilton almost passed Zach Cozart on the base pass. Plus a collection of Reds look back on the illustrious career of Dodgers announcer Vin Scully and Brandon Phillips. His flares, is it rubbing off on Joey Votto? Join Jeff Picoro and Doug Flynn Wednesday at 6 for Reds Weekly right here on Fox Sports Ohio. And speaking of Vin Scully, earlier before the season, they named the road coming into Dodger Stadium Vin Scully Avenue. So in his 67th and final year in the broadcast booth, he may be stepping aside, but his legacy will live on in many, many ways, including this dedication earlier this year. The new Dodger Stadium address, 1000 Vin Scully Avenue. And Vin is a humble man. He originally resisted the honor, but then relented because the fans wanted it.
How about that longest tenured broadcaster with one team in the history of this great game? 12 presidential administrations he has worked through as a Dodger announcer. Started in Brooklyn back in 1950. Still working for the Dodgers here in 2016. Started actually with Red Barber many, many years ago.
He sure did. Started when Harry Truman was in the White House and his vice president was Alvin Barkley.
Alvin Barkley. How do you know that?
He's a Kentucky senator.
Okay, there you go. New ball becomes a second strikeout for Kershaw as we get the 5th inning started. That'll be Jordan Pacheco. Good ball game going on here. Good pitching by Kershaw as we expected. One of the better outings of the year by Brandon Finnegan thus far. He's only walked 1, struck out 1. Kershaw's walked 1, struck out 2.
It really is amazing what Clayton Kershaw's been able to do, because what Brandon Finnegan has done tonight, a lot of other pitchers do the same thing. When you're facing Clayton Kershaw, you want to ratchet up your game just a little bit, because you know for a fact that your team's not going to get very many runs, so you better pitch very tight in that ball game. So far, Finnegan is doing a great job, and Kershaw is doing what Kershaw does.
Hit hard by Pacheco to center, but playable. Trace Thompson, a step in front of the track, makes the catch. So you start your weekend off with a bang with Fireworks Fridays at Great American Ballpark. Friday, June the 3rd, when the Reds come back home, you can cheer on the Reds as they take on the Washington Nationals for as low as $12. Plus enjoy a post-game fireworks show presented by Coca-Cola. For tickets, 513-381-REDS or visit Reds.com. 2 out for Barnhart. Tucker base hit in the center his first time. One of 2 hits the Reds have in this one.
Seems to me that Tucker Barnhart is just a little bit farther away from the plate tonight than he usually is when he bats right-handed. Now, the thing about Kershaw, he likes to throw that slider down and in, or drop that curveball over the top.
Sends Barnhart back to the dugout. 2 strikeouts in the inning. Second perfect frame for Kershaw. NASCAR circuit with the Coca-Cola 600 at 5:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox, or watch all the Memorial Day weekend events on Fox Sports Go. Scoreless duel here between the Reds and the Dodgers as we play into the bottom of the 5th inning. Reds had an opportunity in the first, left a runner in scoring position in the 3rd. Dodgers left a runner at 2nd in the 1st inning and a runner at 3rd in the last inning. So both teams have had their chances and both pitchers have been able to come through. Keep this a 0-0 game into the bottom of the 5th. Puig now against Finnegan. Popped him up. A lot of foul ground here at this ballpark. And Votto going to a knee. Barnhart peeled off. Votto stayed with it. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the home 5th.
I'm getting to believe that Joey Votto doesn't feel comfortable fielding a ball, whether it's a ground ball or a pop-up, unless he goes down at least on 1 knee. I mean, you got to give him a little style points right here.
Go to your comfort zone. He makes the play. And Puig is 0 for 2. So here's A.J. Ellis.
Ellis now 35 years old. Born in Missouri, but he was raised in Lexington. Went to Dunbar High School there and then went on to Austin Peay University, where he had a very fine college career. In fact, he signed as a senior. Did A.J. Ellis. He was a 4-time All-Ohio Valley Conference player. First team selection when he played at Austin Peay.
For the Governors.
Good baseball school.
Is it? Yeah. Well, a 4-pitch walk, and so with 1 out, Ellis is aboard.
Number 22, Clayton Kershaw.
Well, Kershaw had a leadoff base hit his last time up. You wonder what Dave Roberts will have him doing right now, whether he'll lay down a bunt or whether they'll let him swing away. It looks like he's already squaring around the bunt way up in the front of the batter's box. And then pulls it back and watches for strike 1.
He does not have a sacrifice this year, Kershaw. Pacheco in and continuing to come in over at 3rd. There's your Butcher boy. No balls, 2 strikes. First row right behind the Dodgers dugout. Slaps it toward the hole. Cozart's going to get it and out at second base. What a play by Cozart, stretched by Phillips, and you can bet Dave Roberts is going to say, hang on now. He's going to have his video man take a look at that. That was awfully close.
What a big league play by Zach Cozart. Wow. When this ball came off the bat, I mean, it looked like base hit, no problem. Slapping it the other way. Look, he had to go about 10 strides before he picked that ball up, threw it on a line on the money to Brandon Phillips. Bang, bang at second base.
Finnegan into it. Heck of a play by Cozart. No challenge from the Dodgers. That is just terrific defense by Zach Cozart. Ellis the second out of the inning. Top of the order now, and Kike Hernandez. couple of former MVPs chatting it up down there at first base. Votto in 10, Kershaw in 14. Runner trying to go up, and the throw gets off the glove of Phillips. Out into right. Kershaw up, lumbering over toward third, and he is in there. He's not just a pitcher.
Well, he's a smart player and a good base runner too. Kershaw is. He takes a chance there. But you got to figure every time the Dodgers see a play like that, where a fielder goes up in the air and their star pitcher is underneath when he comes down, they've got to be holding their collective breath. They owe Clayton Kershaw $34 million a year through 2020. And the last thing they want him to do is be injured on the base paths.
To right center, and Bruce, and Jay is there to haul it in off the bat of Kike Hernandez. So all that action, and still no score through 5.
The Cincinnati Reds. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Let's check out our T-Mobile greater coverage of baseball. Former Red Todd Frazier continues his assault on American League pitching. He hit his American League leading 14th home run today in a win versus Cleveland. Josh Hamilton, the former Red as well, his injuries continue. He'll miss the remainder of the season. He'll have knee surgery. And Ryan Vogelsong, we send out our best to him. He was hospitalized after being hit in the head by a pitch this afternoon, and they will update his condition tomorrow. And it was really ugly in there today, so we hope Vogelsong is okay.
All right, thank you, Jimmy. Into the 6th inning we go. Kershaw has walked 1, struck out 3. We'll get Finnegan, then the top of the order.
Now, this is if you're Clayton Kershaw, you're glad that you've done all your running and conditioning work in between starts, because as it turned out, he went to second on the wild pitch, then went to third on the error, and then the very next batter jumps on the first pitch and makes an out for the 3rd out. He goes in to collect his glove. Comes back out on the mound. I think that's one reason why Justin Turner, after his warm-up pitches, went out there just to buy him just a few more moments, maybe to get his breath back.
He just rears back and throws a couple of heaters by Finnegan here to get ahead 2 strikes. It doesn't look like he's breathing very hard, does it?
No, I'm breathing harder than he is.
And now he drops the big hammer on him right there.
That pitch looked high.
So he struck out now 3 of the last 4.
Remember, It's not where you catch the ball. It's where the ball crosses the plate. And the upper part of the strike zone is the halfway point between the top of the shoulders and the belt as the batter swings. I think that pitch is high.
And Finnegan agreed with you. Ozarda hitting the ground out. He's 1 for 2. And now he's in the hole, 2 strikes. Seager throws him out here. He waited on that breaking ball, hit it hard, but right at Seager, so 2 men down.
I'll tell you, Zach Cozart, even when he makes outs, he this year, it looks like he's on just about every pitch he sees. I mean, it's been a ridiculous transformation for Cozart since 2014, when he really seemingly couldn't hit anything, to last year that he was hitting the ball very well before he got injured. And that comes back this year, and he's hitting like an all-star. I mean, he's putting up all-star numbers, playing Gold Glove defense. Remarkable. And a tribute to how hard he's worked to get back.
Well, you are not kidding there. That little scare early in the year at Pittsburgh where he thought something had happened, but he was back in there a couple of days later, no problems. Hamilton grounded out his last time to Turner at third. Quickly finds himself in the hole here. He'll try Seager this time. They know they have to hurry, and they do. Billy is out. It's 8 in a row now, retired by Kershaw. The Front Gate Outdoor Luxury Suite at Great America Ballpark. The suite features an all-inclusive food and beverage package, flat panel TVs, and luxury furnishings. Host your next group outing by calling the Reds Group Sales Department at 513-765-7600 or visit reds.com/groups. Glad you're with us on this late night Monday here in Los Angeles. First of a 3-game series, the Reds and the Dodgers. Scoreless one thus far into the bottom of the 6th inning. Turner's flied out, hit into a double play. He's got that timing mechanism you see not everybody has, but he certainly has that high leg kick in front when the pitcher's ready to come to the plate.
It's amazing how different hitters will adopt different styles to try to do the same thing, which is stay back, keep your head still, keep your front shoulder in, let your hands work. But there's so many different approaches to it. One thing that he does, though, that it may be one reason why he's late on that fastball, is that he begins when he lifts that leg out, the barrel of that bat begins to float towards the pitcher. And that makes you really cover more ground in your arc to get that bat through the zone.
Well, he draws the walk here. It's the third issued by Finnegan.
Second leadoff walk of an inning for Finnegan. It happened. Check that. That's the first.
But the second time they've had their leadoff man on. Well, let's see what they want to do here with Adrian Gonzalez. Hit the ball hard as last time, but out into left field. Oh, that ball short hop. Votto, they may have had a chance at Turner. Instead, it goes down the right field line, and Turner advances into scoring position. And that'll be a throwing error on Tucker Barnhart, his second error and the Reds' third of this game.
Well, they definitely had a chance right there for Tucker Barnhart. I mean, he was trying a little back pick right there. Look how aggressive Turner is with that lead. And that ball just was thrown in the dirt, unable to be picked by Votto. That's another one of those plays, though. If Votto sees that ball coming like that, you know, one step to his left, he could keep that ball in front of him. But your first thought is to grab it and tag. And a bad throw is a bad throw.
Check swing, and that's going to get out into left field by Gonzalez. Turner is held up at third as Duvall did a nice job to come in and get that ball. Chris Woodward is the third base coach of the Dodgers, and he held Turner as he came charging around third base.
I think that's about the only time Gonzalez doesn't hit the ball hard is when he doesn't swing.
Placed perfectly over the outstretched glove of Pacheco. Here's Howie Kendrick. This is the best chance now for either team, first and third with nobody out here in the bottom of the sixth.
You see the big difference for Brandon Finnegan. What an advantage he has when he leads the hitter off with a strike. Opposing batters are hitting 171. When he fires a ball the first pitch, they're hitting over 300. Getting ahead is everything for Finnegan.
Ball and a strike now. Ryan Bryce has to be pleased with what he has seen from Finnegan here tonight, based on the fact that the last 3 times out have not been impressive starts for Finnegan. His first start ever here at Dodger Stadium, so far going pretty well. Got himself in a jam though here. Caleb Cotham up and throwing in the Reds bullpen under the watchful eye of Mac Jenkins. Toward the shortstop. They will get them both. A run does score. The Dodgers take the lead. Now let's see if Dave Roberts wants to look at this play. Out to the top step of the dugout.
Get the ground ball when you need it. Unfortunately, that's a leadoff walk to standing at third base. Although he did get there by error, it does count for a run, and Hendrick bounces in this double play. Reds have done a nice job on double plays. The second one they've turned on the ground tonight.
Dave Roberts signaled no, he would not challenge the play at first. They took a long look at it. Turner scores. No RBI for Kendrick, but a 1-0 Dodgers lead. Oh, a smash off the glove of Pacheco there by Trace Thompson. Thompson's aboard for the first time in this game.
Shortstop, Corey Seager.
Thompson has hit the ball hard a couple of times. One right at the center fielder last time up. That ball just too hot to handle for Pacheco. Let's have some activity in their bullpen going. Caleb Coffin is up and throwing.
Number really jumps against Finnegan in the later stages of the game. Third time through the lineup. Seager is grounded out twice.
Well, Brandon is such a high energy pitcher. I mean, you can tell with each one of his deliveries, he's giving just about every bit of effort he can possibly give. And you get up around the 90 pitch mark, and you may lose your command a little bit when you're that high effort.
Barnhart's throw is going to be a little bit late. Good throw, but a good jump down there at first by Thompson.
Again, I think it was one of those situations where Finnegan more concentrating on the hitter than the runner.
And the Dodgers have stolen only 10 bases this year in 45 games, and they have 2 in the first 6 innings of this one. Nice pitch there by Finnegan. He gets the strikeout of Seager, putting an end to the bottom of the 6th. But the Dodgers get the game's first run and lead 1-0. for our Honda game summary. Brandon Finnegan, he's been very good tonight. 1 run through 6 innings. One of those 3 walks hurt him in the 6th, but boy, he's had some very good defense behind him, like this play by Zach Cozart. Good stretch by Phillips. They get the out right there. And of course, Clayton Kershaw, you always expect him to be on top of his game, and he has, minus really a ton of strikeouts tonight. Only 4 of them through 6, atypical of the big native of Dallas, Texas. 1-0 Dodgers as we enter the 7th. Tonight's Honda game summary. Votto to bat first here in the 7th inning. Through a walk to start the 4th, the lone walk issued by Kershaw. That run in the 6th inning, despite the throwing error by Barnhart, turns out to be an earned run because of that base hit by Trace Thompson. But the walk is what really hurt Finnegan and the Reds. That was the leadoff walk. Votto trying to get something started here. He's ahead 2-1. Phillips next, then Bruce. Talked about the struggles of Joey Votto seemingly since the beginning of the season. Started the day at 205. Started the month of May only at 175. You look back through his years, he has never had a month where he's had at least 50 at bats in a month. Never had a month in which he's hit under 200 in his career. Here we are on the 23rd of May. He's sitting at 175 for this month. Have had the leadoff man on in 3 innings. Kershaw has set down 8 in a row. And Votto is out.
Kershaw slowly but surely getting his strikeout pitch going. And for Joey Votto, it's a slider. Maybe he was watching a lot for those curveballs on the with the 2 strike count of the last couple of batters up. Well, he is just all over the strike zone. Kershaw is in the strike zone, but all over it.
Now it's Phillips. Twice has hit the ball on the ground. Twice been retired. Once on a double play. Now 2 for his last 25. Turner been busy down there at 3rd. And he throws Phillips out for out number 2. Well, Kershaw still in a very good spot in terms of number of pitches in this game. He's thrown 78 and he's 2 outs into the 7th inning.
4 ground balls down to the 3rd baseman Turner. There have been 3 to the shortstop.
And now another ground ball. Bruce to Gonzalez. And that's 11 in a row retired by Clayton Kershaw. Stretch time here at Chavez Ravine.
Stadium. I'm Jim Day. Ross Ollendorf finally heard from the league today about his 3-game suspension that he appealed. It was against the Pirates, in which he was deemed to have thrown intentionally at a batter and suspended 3 games. Brian Price suspended 1. We told you he had a video conference with the league last week. Well, the league revoked the suspension, which was kind of surprising considering the new rule. So Ollendorf is free and clear of it. Brian Price, however, it's an automatic 1-game suspension as Puig shoots a base hit to right field. It's an automatic 1-game suspension for a manager, but Brian Price feels that in the future, managers should be able to appeal as well, because in the end, he was suspended for something that was deemed appropriate or was not against the rules. He hopes that the fine that was levied against him will be taken back.
Yeah, that's a good point, because you wonder about that. You're not going to get the game back, obviously, but you will potentially, hopefully, as Jim said, get the fine money back that he had to pay.
Well, that whole automatic ejection rule needs to be completely revisited.
Yeah.
Now that Major League Baseball is changing some rules nearly every year, that's the thing that they really ought to look at next, because it's not stopping beanball wars at all.
Here's the pitch kind of fitting it at 91 as he works here in the bottom of the 7th. Dodgers get the leadoff man on. Ellis now. Kershaw next. Cawthon was up earlier, throwing again in the Reds bullpen. Puig is the Dodgers leader in stolen bases with a grand total of 4. In fact, he is the only Dodgers player with more than 1 stolen base this year. I mean, they had Dee Gordon out here years and years ago. They had Maury Wills out here. They've had some guys that can run the bases. This year, not so much. Runner going there. Phillips, Cozart, and easy over to Votto for the double play.
That was really good teamwork by Cozart and Phillips on that, because Puig is coming down there hard. He got a big jump, and he's really bent on trying to upset this with a legal slide. He gets down before he gets to the bag, but you see Cozart clearing himself out of the way, making sure, oh, you're not getting me, and then makes the peg to first.
Look, Ellis is nowhere in sight down there. I mean, admittedly, he's a catcher, and he did catch 17 innings yesterday. Once they got out with Puig at second, the double play turned out to be an easy one.
Yeah, his heart was into it, but his knees weren't.
So 3 of them tonight. 3 double plays turned by the Reds, who started the day tied with the Indians for the fewest number of double plays turned in the big leagues this year.
Which is really amazing considering all the opportunities they've had.
Three and 2. Flanagan right now at 6 2/3 is equal to the longest road start by a Reds pitcher this year, and it was his back in Chicago. And Pacheco throws out Kershaw, so this is the longest road start by a Reds pitcher this year. A 7-inning outing thus far for Brandon Finnegan. You can now stream Reds games live on your mobile device. Just go to your app store and download the free Fox Sports Go app. Log in and stream the Reds wherever you go. Here's Clayton Kershaw into his 8th inning of work. He's never gone less than 7 in a game this year. In this game, no runs allowed. He's walked 1. He's ran 5. And when you talk of Kershaw and a left-hander and the Dodgers, inevitably the comparison comes up between Kershaw and Koufax.
And it's getting to the point where Kershaw now, it really is in the conversation with Koufax for all of these reasons. I mean, the strikeouts per innings, the earned run average, the number of Cy Young awards, the MVPs, and so on. Because now that Kershaw is 28 years old, remember that Sandy Koufax's career was done when he was 30 years old. Interesting, really, because it wasn't long after Koufax retired in 1966, maybe 10 years later, not even that, I guess, that Dr. Frank Jobe, right here in Los Angeles, performed the first ever Tommy John surgery. And he was very close to Sandy Koufax. And at that point in medical history, they had not even thought about Tommy John surgery, owner replacement surgery. And Dr. Frank Jobe said at a later date, after he did perform the first one on Tommy John, they said, if I had thought of it earlier, it would be called Sandy Koufax surgery.
So what you're saying is, you think that Koufax pitched all those years with a torn collateral ligament?
There's no question about it in the minds of those medical people that saw him, including Dr. Jobe. And, he would have his elbow drained almost before every start because it would fill up with fluid, had terrible pain. They put in, he was on heavy anti-inflammatories that keep the pain down. They rub capsulin on the outside of his arm. And capsulin really doesn't help the inside of your arm, but it generates a nerve ending so much. I mean, it's essentially what is in, habanero pepper. And it makes the outside skin so radiant that you forget all about the pain on the inside.
Strikeout number 6 for Clayton Kershaw, the first out here in the 8th inning. Well, you got to wonder, though, if once he retired and later on, as you said, 10 years later, they performed the first Tommy John on Tommy John. Did they ever go in and take a look, maybe with an MRI, to see if that was indeed the case with Sandy Koufax?
No, I don't think they did. I think Koufax wanted to walk away from the game while he could still comb his hair and play golf and actually, live a good life post-baseball.
And what, in the last couple of years, you start to see him now at spring training with the Dodgers. In fact, I think Vin Scully threw out the first pitch on opening day here this year, and Koufax was the catcher.
Wow.
Pacheco's flied out twice. He's 0 for 2. Reds in the 8th. Talk about the fact that Kershaw is 2-2 in 9 career starts against the Reds with a .290. Did not face Cincinnati last year. Last faced them late in May of 2014. Strike 3 call. See all the Reds action aboard the Cincinnati Bell Riverboat deck at Great American Ballpark. Located above the center field wall, you can take in panoramic views of the Ohio River and the entire ballpark. To book your party or group outing, call the Reds Group Sales Department. That number 513-765-7600 or visit reds.com/groups. Broken bat and out. 14 in a row now by Kershaw. Appreciate it. You know, whenever we come to LA, we always run into friends of Jeff Pecora. I don't know how he knows them, how he meets them, where he meets them, but he meets them. And we met another one of his good friends here tonight. We'll tell you all about it in the postgame show. Come up to you and say, hey, is Jeff on the trip? No, Jeff's not here. Would you please tell him I said hello? And we'll do that later on.
Would that be Vin Scully?
No, it's not Vin, but that's a good guess right there.
Third baseman, number 10, Justin Turner.
A long time in between for Red starters to go deep into a ball game. Robert Stevenson did it and then was promptly sent back to AAA. Alfredo Simon did it on May the 5th. And Brandon Finnegan, who has flirted with the 7-inning complete, finally gets there tonight.
Now that Alfredo Simon started on the 5th of May, the longest by a Reds pitcher this year at 7 2/3. And now here's Finnegan at 7 1/3. And if the Reds, as Chris just said, don't get something in the 9th and he can get through this inning, it would be the first complete game by a Reds pitcher this year. Pitch walk there puts Finnegan at 103 pitches for the night. 111 is the most he's thrown in a game, and that was the road start in Chicago when he had the 6 2/3 of no-hit baseball. JC Ramirez now in the pen. 4 walks by Finnegan, 2 to Turner. Now Adrian Gonzalez. Finnegan's spot due up first in the 9th inning, so either way he's going to be lifted for a pinch hitter.
Well, he wants to finish this inning, though.
Sure. He's never had, obviously, a complete game in his career. Short time in the minor leagues or in the big leagues.
Well, he hopes that 8 innings is not a complete game.
Gonzalez has been on twice. He reached on that slow roller in which Phillips bobbled in the first, lined out in the 4th, and ended that check swing single in the 6th inning.
Now the Reds are going to put the super shift on him with Pacheco, the third baseman, really playing where the second baseman normally plays. Pacheco is right here. And Gonzalez trying to shoot that ball the other way.
The theory behind moving him with 1 strike as opposed to at the beginning of the at-bat?
Maybe the fact that you're going to call for certain pitches. Maybe, you know, earlier in this at-bat it looked like he was throwing fastballs inside. Although they put the shift on him and then they throw a breaking ball away.
Right at the shortstop. 1, 2, 4 of them tonight. 4 double plays turned by the Reds. That one gets Finnegan and company through the bottom of the 8th.
of the game. Let's take you back to 1980. Ken Griffey Sr. right here at Dodger Stadium. Home run in the Midsummer Classic. And he was named Game's MVP. And the Griffey legacy lives on. And I'm not sure by that shot, it looked like that might have been Tommy John on the hill.
Have to see that again to be sure. Did you get a look at that?
I did not.
Very possible, though. All right, Kershaw onto the mound. 2 complete game shutouts this year. 14 shutouts in his career. He had 3 all of last year. He could equal that total here just past the quarter mark of the season as Eugenio Suarez breaks his bat. Pinch hitting here for Brandon Finnegan. A career high 8 innings for Finnegan. 1 run earned, 5 hits allowed, walk 4, fan 2. But a terrific outing by the 23-year-old.
Well, he hung right in there. There's no doubt. I think he really wanted to make sure that Clayton Kershaw didn't steal the stage completely in their matchup tonight. Finnegan's a real confident young man without being cocky. And that's a hard line to straddle sometimes. But when you're a pitcher on the mound in the major leagues, you've got to be confident, uber confident, to the point where nobody can hit you, nobody's going to beat you. Problem is trying to put that into practice.
Eugenio Suarez at 236 with 9 home runs. That's tops on this team, but he is really going through a tough time right now. In the series at home against Seattle, he went 0 for 11 with 10 strikeouts.
All he's got to tell himself here is just get a good pitch to him. Put a good swing on it. Nasty slider right there. That's a slider that has depth. He throws it very hard. Does Kershaw, and it goes almost straight down. Another one.
Seager, long throw, and they've got him at first base. Nice play by the young shortstop, Corey Seager.
You can see Seager make these plays, and there's no wonder why every team that has wanted to make a deal with the Dodgers have first asked for Corey Seager. And they've been all told no.
Kershaw appreciates good defense as much as anybody. He's now retired 15 in a row as he deals with Cozart. Reds have been shut out 3 times this year, including once in the recently completed Seattle series by Felix Hernandez 4-0. Blanked by the Cubs at home twice this year. Trying to avoid being shut out here by Clayton Kershaw. The Dodger faithful wanted the call there and did not get it.
40,000 umpires in the stands and not one opinion counts.
Another chance for Seager. 2 out. Make sure you're ready for Reds action 30 minutes before every game. That's on Reds Live pregame here on Fox Sports Ohio, presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. Same time tomorrow here as we were tonight. Same time on Wednesday. 9:30 with Reds Live. 10:10 first pitch. Kershaw trying to close it out in style. He gets Hamilton. He'll have ended the game with 17 in a row. Started the game at 1.67, second best ERA in the National League. If there's a shutout tonight, it'll be down to 1.48. He'd still be a ways behind Jake Arrieta at 1.29. Billy down 2 strikes. He's 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice. And a sacrifice bunt back in the first. Mozart ended up in third in that inning. One of only 3 base runners the Reds have had. That base hit by Cozart. A leadoff single by Barnhart in the third. And the leadoff walk to Votto in the fourth. And that is it. 16 straight by Kershaw, who amazingly is only 28 years old. In the air to right, Puig. And the first game of this series goes to the homestanding Dodgers. They win it 1-0. 1-0 Dodgers. They get back to the 500 mark at 23-23. The Reds' losing streak goes to 8. They're now 15-30. But a good pitching performance on both sides of the ledger tonight.
Well, it was. I think that Brandon Finnegan has a lot to be happy about tonight. I think the Reds also, the fact that they handled themselves about as well as anybody against Clayton Kershaw on the year. But the final analysis, it goes down for a loss. The Dodgers played 17 innings last night. Nearly 6 hours of baseball. Clayton Kershaw and company gets it done in just about 2 hours tonight.
Yeah, 2 hours, 11 minutes tonight after playing 5 hours and 47 minutes last night in San Diego. Well, Reds and the Dodgers will try to get here tomorrow night. The final again here. A 1-0 Dodger win. We'll come back with more in a moment.